Welcome once again. My name is Olla Oluwafemi. People call me IamBezaleel, and this is the platform, and the platform is SolutionPlus TV. And today we'll be dwelling on the same series that we have been talking about for a long time. Of course, we all know the only in thing in Nigeria for now is politics and election. Today, I'll be continuing on that same series. I have someone also in the house, he's a political scientist, and is a friend of the house. And today I'll be having him do justice to some of the issues around vote buying. We are going to hear another perspective entirely today. So, but before then, let's go on a break. And when I'm back, he's going to introduce himself to you, and we'll kick off today's business. Thank you.
Standing alone can be a heavy load, but my vows I won't be breaking. Though my heart is aching, I got a word and I won't let go.
Welcome back once again. It's still Olla Oluwafemi. IamBezaleel, and it's still the platform SolutionPlus TV. And today I have with me another meticulous political analyst. He's a political scientist, like I earlier mentioned, and he's going to introduce himself to us, and he's going to be doing justice to the issue of vote buying and the future of Nigerian democracy. Mr. Dari, your introduction, please.
Hello, listeners. Thank you for staying tuned to us. Ishola Adeleke is my name, as you must have heard from him. Yes, indeed, I'm a political scientist. I'm a democratic commentator and I'm a writer. And of course, we are in together in this place to deal with issues around politics and vote buying in Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, you have heard him. He's a political analyst. And today, let me start by saying this. We have had issues leading to election. I'm not going to dwell much on those ones, but we have the issue of CJN presently. We are going to come back to that. But today's topic is vote buying and the future of Nigerian democracy. Let me start by saying, what's your view? What's your definition of vote buying?
Well, vote buying, maybe to simply put, we say vote buying, it's a proposal, inducement of voters to, give out their vote in exchange of certain means of subsistence. In this time around, we talk about basic means such as food, clothing, material that are needed, by them. So this simply is what we can, describe as vote buying. Anytime whereby you induce people, to vote, exchange people's votes for things they actually need. Because it is based on this thing that people are giving out their vote.
Okay. Are you saying the inducement may not be in terms of money alone?
Yes. Okay. Yes. It's part of it.
I would like to hear more about that.
Yes. It's part of it. When money itself is part of basic means. When you talk of money, everybody needs money. The first thing you need is money. And when you have this money, what do you use it for? You use it, to obtain some of these things, such as clothing, food, and the rest of these things we've mentioned earlier on.
Okay. In Nigeria today, you said may not anything used to induce people to vote in a certain direction. Exactly. Or to make decision in certain direction. Exactly. That's the definition of vote buying in the first place.
Exactly.
So, okay. During the week, a lot of people are saying that the issue of trader money is a form of vote buying. That the government cannot isolate vote buying from the way in which they are going about this trader money distribution. What's your view about that?
Well, objectively, we cannot confirm that.
Okay.
Objectively, we cannot confirm that. Now, the issue of trader money, as the federal government proposed or as the ruling party proposed, is to actually support people, especially petty traders, those who want to do business.
But people are saying, why is it coming now?
Well,
you have spent solid years without doing all of these things.
That is
just few minutes to the election, and we are having this.
Oh yes. Of course. Seemingly it has it seems to be true, But like I said earlier on, it cannot be, objectively proved except by inference. We can only infer. We can only infer that, okay, the reason why they are giving this at this particular point in time is to make people vote for them. Okay. But until, we see these people actually giving this money at the time, at the point of voting, in exchange for their card or in exchange for their term, that is when we can actually say, okay,
now there's
I'm saying that you cannot prove it now. It's still an inference. Okay. It's still an inference. Okay. It's implicitly, it looks like that implicitly, but we cannot see.
I'm only playing a devil's advocate here.
Okay.
I'm painting a situation whereby people are giving example of what happened in Osun. Yes, some people would dispute the fact that those things never happened in the first place. And some people will even give you another example of what happened in Ekiti State. Because even politicians on the pages of newspaper agreed that they've done it before. And if it happens now, there shouldn't be any big deal. That's a confirmation.
Sorry,
of the
Mr.
kind.
Moderator,
okay,
can I pause you a little bit?
Okay,
now,
no problem.
the case of Osun and Ekiti,
yes,
is quite different, from this issue of trader money that we are talking about. Now, the case of Osun and Ekiti, that one is, a blatant fraud, in a broad daylight.
Okay.
We could see the politicians giving money to the suffering masses in exchange for their votes. Okay. That one is clear. It can be proven. I mean, the stuff are all over. Go to YouTube, you see some of these things. Nigerian newspaper, reported this case. So it is all over. But when we talk about the issue of trader money, well, is only an inference. Be that as may, I've never said it's not true. I've never said it is true. Okay. But I am saying that, before we can say something is true, we must have evidences, something to prove beyond reasonable doubt that this thing, it is so. But it might have some implicit truth, underneath. But what we are saying that the federal government, says is giving this money for the purpose of enhancing the poor people that want to do business, and they don't have the money, to pursue just project. And until then, until they do anything otherwise, we cannot say, okay, this is
I can say that I'm dealing with a meticulous political scientist lecturer here, and there's no way they want to be they want to pitch their tent with law, so to say. You are welcome anyway. But in terms of the democracy in Nigeria, do we even have democracy in Nigeria?
Well,
I know you are going to say in the real sense of it, and you are going to say what we have. I'm not talking of. I want you to give me the positives, the positive and the normative angle of it, like what ought to be and what is. Do we have democracy in Nigeria?
Well, this is actually, a $1 million question. It's a question, that people, have kept asking, and it has not even been exhausted. The answer is still ongoing, and the debate is still on, whether we have democracy in Nigeria or not. And let me first begin by saying, I think for us to really approach this very well, maybe we should first begin by taking a look of what actually democracy will mean, or what is democracy, based on intention and its action. In other words, democracy in terms of its principles and, its expected, practices.
You can give us a peep into that, please.
Yes, and of course, I'm about doing that. Generally, the democracy is conceived, to be a government whereby, people have say in administration or in running of their own affairs, in managing themselves. In other words, people are directly or indirectly involved in their own management. People themselves are involved in things political. That is what democracy is. And when you talk about that, you talk about consensus of people coming together to reach an agreement of what they consider to be a common good. What they consider to be something, that is beneficial, at least to majority. But having said that, mention must be made here because, democracy has its own complexity as well, even in developed country. Mention must be made here that democracy should not just be reduced to mean government of the majority. Or else, we might be talking about, a populist dictatorship. But democracy, must also integrate into its practice, the defense of the minority. That is when we talk about right. And that is why today, many times when you look at materials, papers on democracy, what you usually find is not just democracy, liberal democracy. And that is what modern democracy means, or what modern democracy should be. In this case, you talk about, democracy of freedom, democracy that guarantees, individual rights. Democracy that guarantees individual rights. Because if you just say democracy, and you do not underscore the liberalism in it, there will be a problem. You may just reduce democracy to the government of the majority, and which may be another form of dictatorship in any way. So what we are saying in essence is the fact that why democracy is actually a government whereby people themselves are involved in the managing of their own affairs. And when we talk about these people, we talk about at least majority of the people. And also along this area, it does not also neglect the protection and the right of the minority.
Thank you, Mr. Oluwafemi. And while you were giving us the analysis, you mentioned politics and participation, that democracy should involve the participation of the people. People should be able to participate in the governance. And are we saying that, if that is what ought to be in terms of democracy, isn't it?
Yes.
If that's what ought to be, I'm an economist, so let me use the economic term. If that is what ought to be in democracy, do we have that in Nigeria?
Yes. We are still trying to have that in Nigeria. Okay. let me put it that way. We are still trying to have that in Nigeria.
Let me ask you another question.
Let me first answer this, please. Or is it related?
It's kind of related to that same question. I remember sometimes earlier in around last year, 2018, of course, our president was interviewed in the international charts, where he said, "You can't expect me to give the same attention I will give to people that gave me 95% of their votes, and expect me to give the same thing to the people that gave me 5% of their votes." Our president said that on the international stage. So, we are talking about, and you said we should not make democracy a government of the majority.
Exactly.
Thereby neglecting the minority.
Okay, thank you.
And in this case, the scenario I've just placed.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Okay.
Please permit me to answer the question one after the other.
Okay.
Let me first begin with the first one. I think you begin by saying
you
that
need to be very fast with this.
Okay. Now, I think you begin by saying that are people actually involved in a democratic process in Nigeria?
Yes.
Well, from my own view, I will say no. And if people are actually involved, it's to a very, very limited, or let me say minute extent. Now, and if you ask me why, the answer is actually simple. See, now, the answer is very simple. Now, see, people that are involved in democracy, so to say, in Nigeria, they are just playing stooge. Democracy, being involved in democracy, presupposes the fact that, you are someone who has a mind of himself, who is entirely free. That is part of the norm of democracy. Freedom to do what you like, what you want. Freedom to make options. But in Nigeria, citizens do not have freedom to make options. Options that will make them to be involved in democracy. People do not have that freedom. Whether they are limited politically, whether they are limited socially, whether they are limited economically, or in any way around, people do not enjoy that freedom. And to that extent, when you see people practicing, okay, you might see people going, to vote for someone, for example. Let me tell you, it does not mean that that person himself has gone by his own decision. It might just be inducement, like, what we start with. Might just be by inducement. That person is going just for a particular candidate, who in turn will give him some stipend or something to spend for the week. So people are not really practicing democracy, the way it should be practiced.
Okay.
And to that extent, that is why people could not hold government responsible for anything. Then for the second question, you talk about the second. Now, for the second question.
The question is minority, the issue of minority.
Okay.
What President Muhammad Buhari said.
I said earlier on, I've mentioned this earlier on, that you see, right democracy, will not only ensure the interest of the majority, but also the right of the minority. Forgive me, with due respect, the president is not a Democrat, so to say. He is a military man in a civilian uniform, wearing a civilian garment, any way you want to put it. So why, if the president is saying that, you can understand from the background he's coming from.
Yeah.
And let me also mention, unfortunately, Nigeria is a country whereby leaders do not undergo training, especially on certain positions they are going to occupy. It's just a kind of society whereby you just choose people, based on some sentiment and some of those things. They do not really look at the quality of these people in terms of their understanding about what they want to manage. And that's what we are having. President Muhammadu Buhari may not have that full knowledge of what democracy is. And so that is what we even make him to say something like that. Imagine in an international space. So this is what we are saying.
Okay. So we are saying that even the interests of the people are not actually covered in the real sense of it, because they are not involved.
Yes.
Let alone talking about the minority.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Mr. Oluwafemi. The last questions. I've asked all the people that have engaged in this series of vote buying and the future of democracy. One pertinent question. Your honest opinion. You are a Nigerian.
Okay.
We are on this program. We are non-partisan.
Okay.
We don't have anything to do with party.
Okay.
We are just development worker, trying to sample the opinion of people and let them discuss solutions to the problems that we have in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Yes, I want to ask this question from you. Do you see a future for Nigerian democracy?
Well, do I see a future for Nigerian democracy?
Yeah.
It's not a close-ended question.
Yes. Yeah.
No, it's not a close-ended question. So it depends on Nigeria. It depends on Nigeria. Nigeria must actually rise up to be responsible for themselves. I was trying to say something earlier on, but just because of time, Nigerians themselves must be involved in their democratic process. How? Nigeria must learn to hold their leaders responsible. Let me quickly cite this example. Some time ago, I was watching an international news, and there was austerity in Greece at a point in time, I think about 2 years ago, thereabout. And the people came out. The people came out, they were protesting. People came out en masse, they were protesting, they were all over. They shut down, every operations within the state. People, actually came together, to say no to government measure. That is what we are saying. In Nigeria, we don't do this. We don't hold our leaders responsible. We rarely protest against anything. Even when we protest, you find that many of these protests have political undertone. Some people have been bought over, they have been given some money to go and say some things that are not even, representing the interest of the people. That is the problem we are having in this country. And let me quickly mention, because of time, I think another problem about this country, in one of these episodes, we are talking about how the Nigerian, elite has actually make mess of Nigerian youth. And we talk about education. You see, the high level of mediocrity in this country has allowed the politician, to manipulate the population. The high level of mediocrity, the politician will just come and say anything, and people will begin to follow them, even when it is very obvious that this thing is wrong. But you see so many people saying, oh, we support this, we support. Why do we still have some people that are called cabals? Why do we still have some people that are called Godfather up to today? Why will somebody just sit in one state and say, I'm removing this governor, I'm putting another one that I like, and people will still go and vote for that person? What are we saying? Don't you have your own mind? Can't you, disengage for once from somebody that you call, a leader, or somebody that you, call the father of state or the father of nation, or whatever figure he has, to you? So this is what we are saying. So if all these things continues, sir, I'm sorry to say, there is no future for Nigerian democracy.
Thank you very much. At this point, I want to say thank you very much. And of course, this is Solution Plus, Solution Platform. It's all about solutions. We have discussed problems, but in few sentences, some of the questions that you have asked, you mentioned about, I think you have provided some solutions, but in terms of democracy in Nigeria, what do you want to point out as solution in a clear term? You have mentioned it, but I want you to just say them in few sentences. What are the solutions to this problem that we are facing? Problems you actually mentioned getting minority, protecting the interest of the minority. Right. You talked about participation. You also talked about Nigeria must be involved in where they want a future for their democracy.
Exactly.
So what are, just in few sentences, just give us some of the solutions.
Yes. You have highlighted this solution already. Yes. Now, number one is the fact that, the right of every individual must be entrenched, in the constitution. Well entrenched. Everybody.
In the constitution.
Yes, in the group. In the constitution. Must be well entrenched, must be protected and defended, in the constitution. That is number one. Then, there must also be what we call the rule of law in Nigeria. It only exists, as a principle. It does not exist as a practice in Nigeria. And what do I mean? You find out that in Nigeria, some people are above the law.
Yes.
The same law that incriminates one poor man or one middle income man somewhere, this same law, that will leave or that will allow one politician that has a lot of money to spend to go free on the street and do whatever he likes. The both of them have committed the same crime, or have violated, the same constitution, but one somehow is just free, and the other person, is being incarcerated. Then the second one is the fact that apart from a rule of law in Nigeria, then mention must be made. I think we didn't talk about that. There's also a need for restructuring, and I think that one will also come along issue of right, because when the right of each group is well defended, of course, you will know that there will be a need for things to actually be restructured and, be re-strategized and be well planned, to accommodate the interests of all, so that some people will not just maintain dominance over the other. Those are part of the things that will help our democracy. And I cannot stop saying education, quality education, quality education. An average Nigerian is a mediocre or pure illiterate. An average Nigerian and this make them easy for the politicians, to manipulate them. This made them easy. Sorry to say, permit me. I was in a bus one day and during the fuel hike, and somebody was just saying, whether the fuel increases or not, you guys should just provide for money for me to be buying it. That is a mediocre mentality. Because if you think, whether everything, crumble, or whatever, your own is just like, you should have money to get that thing. Don't you think that one day those people that do not have money will get into your house, will get into your home, will come, hold you by your neck, and also make you to pay for what you are buying?
There's a concept called breaking the gates in South Africa. I think I read that time, when people are suffering, the level of suffering was so high, it got to a point that those the have are so afraid of the have-nots. Whereby the have-nots will come to the have. They will not beat them, they will not do anything. But everything you have inside your fridge, they come into your house, pack everything, go into your stuff, pack your stuff, and they go.
That is the idea. In fact, that is, do you know that has already started happening in Nigeria? In fact, I'm working on a book. I'm working on a book that I call The Third World War. The third word, and what do I mean by that is that I'm talking about the revolution of the oppressed, which is going on in Africa, and Nigerian inclusive. People think a revolution cannot happen in Nigeria.
You are going to pay for the advert.
Right? Permit me. Now, people think revolution cannot happen in Nigeria because Nigerian is a multi-ethnic and multi-religious society and some of those things. But they are wrong. Unfortunately, they are looking for a kind of revolution whereby a large people will come together, at a particular point in time, and they will begin to do something. No, revolution may not happen like that. It can happen in another way, like what we see now in Nigeria. It's an unconventional revolution. By the time you see terrorists, by the time you see robbery, by the time you see some of those things, it's an unconventional revolution. Let me ask you, who are the major targets? The haves. The haves. No, the terrorists will not come and will not go and kidnap, or the kidnappers will not go and kidnap somebody who is selling locust bean in the market. They kidnap, the people that have. People that are there and think, once I have access to obtain this thing.
Because
I will not think about it.
I actually wanted to object the issue of terrorism in Nigeria.
No. I'm just talking
kidnapping.
Yes, I'm talking about kidnapping. I'm not supporting terrorism.
No. I'm not saying you are supporting it because the issue of terrorism that we have in Nigeria doesn't have it. They don't
have any ideology. Yes. They don't have an. In fact, that is the problem with Boko Haram. I'm also writing something about that too. The problem we have in this nation is not the problem of terrorism. It's the fact that we don't have the right set of terrorists. We have terrorists that do not have sense. Sorry. I'm making that statement. We have terrorists that do not have ideology. They don't have anything, they are standing for. They are just, very sorry, morons. Let me tell you, if today we have somebody that is fighting for a cause, I'm telling you, many Nigerians, directly or indirectly, will support them.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Oluwafemi. And it's been so refreshing and it's been so exciting having you on the program.
Thank you.
My name is Olla Oluwafemi, and this is Solution. The people call me IamBezaleel, of course, and this is SolutionPlus. Please, if people wants to contact you, please, can you just your name, your phone number, probably your social media, so that people can contact you. Now you have advertised your book. Maybe they want to buy into your book. So, okay, go ahead.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. For now, like I said earlier on, Ishola, Adeleke is my name. If you want to contact me, my phone number is 08032068560. I take that again, 08032068560. And of course, you can also hook me on my Facebook, search for Ishola Adeleke, I'll be there. Thank you very much.
Don't females, please don't hook him. He's a married man, so and of course you can connect with him on that angle. And as you all know, this is a solution platform. We have, in fact, in Nigeria, we are the set of people that understands how to identify our problems. And the purpose of this platform is to discuss solutions to some of these identified problems. We are not just discussing solutions. We discuss homegrown solutions to our problems. Until next time we'll meet again on this same platform, SolutionPlus TV, I am still Oluwafemi, and this is SolutionPlus TV. Thank you very much.